Just a Job is the podcast for the modern woman to redefine what success looks like. We highlight real women and their real stories. Alrighty. Hey everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Just a Job. We've got our June one-on-one. Yes, believe it, hear it here first. It's June. Surprise. We have a fabulous episode for you guys. We're going to do essentially a love letter to our post-grad selves. I wrote my letter in the position of it's graduation day and I'm sharing all my wisdom with myself. Sara wrote a gorgeous letter. We're going to read through some of the submissions that people gave us on Instagram. Sara's also here. Hey, Sara, I'm talking so much already. I'm just blabbing away.
No, you're giving a great intro. I love it. We're setting them up.
Setting them up. Yes. We're very excited for this episode. It was very therapeutic going through to write a little letter to myself. It was fun seeing all the submissions that everybody wrote in on Instagram too. So thank you for those. And yeah, I just gonna shoot the shit with my girl, Sara, my favorite thing to do.
I know. And it's like a Thursday. We're recording this on a Thursday. And I don't know what it is about a Thursday evening that's just so magical. Like, I don't know.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I always just feel really good on Thursdays. I always get to Thursdays and I'm like, it wasn't so bad this week. Or like, how did I cry? It wasn't that bad. But before we jump into these, Ellen and I were saying that we really wanted to just kind of do our normal shoot the shit. I don't know what else to say. We're not shit talking. We're just talking about things. And Ellen and I, of course, always talk about jobs and careers and stuff, but we always send each other videos too. So it's like our TikTok and like our Instagram and like our text messages are always like ping-ponging videos and things together. And I found there's two things. I found this, it's basically like a little graphic and it was a comic, and I'll have to include it, but it's like basically saying, entering the workforce as a Gen Z. I started my first full-time job a few months ago, and it's a girl in her outfit in her mirror.
Oh, cute.
It was enjoyable to learn new things and adapt to an environment I'd never been before. And the thing says, this is where you put, yes, this is where you put that. And then it says, however, I couldn't shake this nagging feeling despite how much I liked my job. And there's kind of this gray cloud. I feel like I'm reading to a childhood class.
This is cute. I like it.
Please watch this in video, guys. Okay. I wanted to deny it as much as I could, but I knew that I was feeling existential dread. It was hard to envision a future where I would have to spend 40 hours a week working for the rest of my life. And she's walking around with swirling thoughts of life. 40 hours? Paycheck? I began to question whether this would really be the reality for the rest of my life, and if this all the years of my studying had led up to. Or maybe if I was patient enough, things will get better soon. And then it's like, to all the Gen Zers out there, did you experience this? And I think that's a perfect way to explain like how I felt when I first came out of college, which will be further explained. The other one that I wanted to show was this girl. I feel like I've seen so many videos of young women like, this is my post-grad life. And they're like talking, basically, I mean, it's June. Most are graduating and like getting into their first week of jobs, which is why we wanted to do this episode, because it's kind of, it's the time season of it all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I've been seeing a handful of videos, honestly, where like it's young girls posting about their days. And some of it's like, yeah, very glamorized, because right now they're in the fun stage. They're putting on the cute outfits and they're going to work and being an adult. But then July hits. You're like, whoa, this sucks. Never mind. But that's just something I've been seeing. And I'm like, I kind of like that, because this is something I wish that I would have had. Not for the sake of comparison of being like, oh, Bethany over there is having a way better, job acclimation experience than I am. But if anything, it's like opening up doors to have conversations of like, oh, I'm not the only one who's having a rough time. Because I feel like besides you and me and then like a handful of my other friends, it's not like I didn't really talk about it all that much. So I'm happy to see TikTok is providing a space for that.
Yeah, warm fuzzies. Well, and it's
Hmm.
like to your point of like it's kind of a not fun thing to talk about. Be like, I'm actually having a really bad time when you're on the
Yeah.
surface looking like you're having a great time. So it's just a
Hmm.
it's kind of a strange thing to talk about, but we're excited to talk about it because again, I agree. I wish I had something like this that at least like talked about what it's like
Hmm.
and all the feelings and changes that go on because you're like life gets turned upside down and literally no one prepares you for it and then they're just
No.
kicked to the curb. Go
Yeah.
figure it out.
You just need your big sisters to tell you it's going to be okay.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
You said
um
you have a few things. I want to hear what you have.
I was gonna say mine aren't as warm and fuzzy, unfortunately, but
That's
these
okay.
are um some like funny things work related that have happened this past week that I was like, I need to tell this story on the podcast. So I sit at a desk at a cubicle, right?
Ooh,
And it's got the
cubile.
like, oh yeah, it's got the like 3/4 walls. So you like can't see over it, but they're
Yeah.
open, right? And so I sit next to this one lady who is like, I really like her. Like she's very cool, so easy to talk to, is like always asking like if I want to go get a coffee or go for a walk. Love
So
her.
nice.
So nice. But she talks so loud, like
Oh no.
to the point where here, I wonder if I have my headphones in this drawer. No, like if I wear my AirPods, even with the noise cancellation around her, not safe. I had to bring in my big over the ear headphones in and turn up my music. Then I cannot hear her. If I'm on a meeting and she is talking, it picks up her voice, even with background noise cancellation on my speaker. Like, I love her. And so I was like, I'm not going to say anything. Like, I'm new. I'm trying to get these
Uh-huh.
people to like me. Like, I'm not saying anything, especially this lady that I like. And then like a couple of people were walking around and this guy comes over and she was talking and he goes, "Wow, she's really loud, huh?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. No, she's not loud at all. I hear nothing."
What?
Yeah.
She has a
Oh,
voice?
I had no idea that she was talking. So she finishes up her call and he goes, "People are complaining that you are loud. What are you doing about that?" And I was like,
Whoa.
and
He
I'm
went full
panicking.
180.
I was like, oh my God, this is not good. Like, she's going to think I like tattled on her.
Oh no.
Thankfully, like, he knew her very well. And it was like a
Oh, okay.
joking thing. And she was like,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I know, I'm loud. But in that moment, I was like, my one ally, like, I've left her out. I told on her. But even I was like gaslit into thinking that I like tattled on her for talking so loudly. Oh my God. And now
You're
she
not
like,
entitled to
thank you. And now
He
she
did
like
the.
makes a point to try and talk like quieter in meetings, but I
Okay.
literally was panicked that I had lost my ally, my one ally at work. I was like, this is
If anything, the other guy's your
it.
ally.
Literally. He did me a favor, honestly.
The
I
Lord's
wonder who
work.
complained though. Like, who was the snitch? I'll report back if I figure it out.
All right.
The other funny story, I have found a fellow Toyota Avalon car in the parking garage of Intuit. And now I feel validated driving my old car around. I was like, oh, a cousin, a friend. I no longer feel alone driving
You need
this
to park
car.
next to them, though.
I know.
Make
And
friends
like
with
leave them a
them.
little note. Totally. Totally.
It could be like the, like the millionaire next door, where it's like the person who drives
Yeah.
the used car and whatever. Like it could be somebody, being that you work at a financial institution, that's like really savvy with money
Mhm.
and is driving that. You could rub elbows with them. You could have the Avalons be friends.
Wouldn't that be cute? What if it's like the CFO and I'm like, hey, we have matching cars. How cute are we?
It's the perfect intro.
Exactly. Exactly. So I was very, I saw it and I literally was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Like, I never
Does
thought I would
your
see one in the parking garage.
You should ask them if their thing flaps down in your
Oh, yeah.
face.
Okay. One of the
Does your
um,
son, what's the thing called? Oh my
sun
god.
visor. I think
Thank
that's
you.
called a sun visor. Yeah.
Yeah, does
The
that thing?
it's the like hook doesn't attach, so I have to have it swung to the side. And then if you take like a really hard left turn, it comes hits you in the head. It's so glamorous. Oh my God. So next time you
That's a
need a
good
good laugh,
experience
think of me taking a hard left turn in the car and getting
in a
smacked in the head.
Toyota Avalon.
Oh yeah, baby.
I love it.
Okay. Those are my fun little fluffy stories to share.
Those were fun and fluffy. They made me giggle. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. When they happened, I was like, these are perfect podcast stories. Like, I have to share.
My life is so funny.
I hope someone got at least a little giggle out of that.
I did, Ellen.
Thank you.
So as we mentioned earlier, we opened it up to the floor. We asked on, oh my God.
Opened it up to the floor. I'm sorry, I shouldn't make fun of you.
I made fun of you last week when you said something about, what did you say? Firing on, no, you said something on all cylinders,
I was like
whatever.
spinning on cylinders or something. I couldn't find my words.
It's okay. It's okay. This is payback. So we sent out, okay, now you got me all frazzled.
I'm sorry.
We asked
We
on
put out a question
Instagram.
box. Yeah.
We asked on Instagram if you could go back to your college self and give yourself a little piece of advice, what would you say? And we got some really funny submissions. So I'm gonna go through some. So Julie said, you are capable of great things, but don't forget to have fun along the way. She went to grad school. Hello, PT. Amandine, one of our guests. She said, push yourself to speak up in class more and put yourself out there. People will probably like you for it. She went to grad
That's
school.
a good one.
Yeah. Everybody always likes the person that's the question asker.
Yeah.
They seem to think that they don't like you, but they actually like you because then it means that you're asking the questions and they don't have to.
Because I'm too embarrassed to raise my hand, so I'd like someone else to do it. Thank you.
Exactly. Somebody else take the sword. Bailey, who's going to be on our podcast soon, said, if you think it's inappropriate to wear it to work, it probably is.
That is fabulous advice.
That is great, tangible advice.
Right? It's one of those, like, if you have to ask an opinion, it's probably not appropriate, you know?
Yes.
Thanks, Bailey.
Your boss will love when you ask questions, so don't be scared to ask for help. Okay, so these are all about speaking up, asking. Okay, I'm going to go through two more, and then I'll have you take over. Take a break before grad school.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think take a break in general.
I put that in my letter to myself.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Breathe.
I resonate with that.
And then Amanda said, no one really knows what they're doing. Don't be afraid of looking stupid. So true.
It's so hard.
So hard. I feel like I'm still telling myself this.
Totally. Especially in a new job. Oh my God.
It's
so relevant now.
It is totally. Okay, you take the other half.
Okay, so I want to give a huge shout out to our international listeners, our UK fans that responded. Thank you to our London folk who listened and responded. Thank you. My sister, this is so funny. And if you know my sister, this is like so something she would say, but her advice is to herself is, you're doing great, sweetie, which obsessed. No notes. I love that.
Period.
Sam said, I really like this one. Always value the job satisfaction over the salary. The money will come with time. It's a really interesting approach to like fulfillment and satisfaction with work. Right?
Yep. Money always feels like the blanket, right? Like it's the blanket to the fire. It like swaddles it and covers it. Like if your life feels on fire, you're like, well, at least I'm making money.
At least there's paychecks coming. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think when you're younger, because you've gone so long without like a paycheck, it feels like that's what you're chasing because you've gone so long in being that like learner student mindset. Now you're just like, I just want to make money, but you still have to wear the student teacher mindset because you're a new grad and the money will come with it. Yeah.
And actually get some sort of enjoyment from your job. Totally. I love Tim. Thank you. Love you, honey. He says, spend the time in your early 20s consciously trying to figure out who you are. Love that. Oh, that's a warm fuzzy. Oh, Tim. Sweetie. You read those ones. Oh, Brittany said, no matter how challenging it is and how inadequate you feel, in all caps, you can do this. I need to put that
Mm-hmm.
on a sticky note in my mirror in my bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Liddy said, find scholarships for grad school. That is like,
Practical.
I hated trying to do scholarship stuff. That was sucked. But it's so, like, you got to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Especially grad school. That's like,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, this is cute. Kaylin said, every job isn't going to be the dream, but soak in the learnings to help you get there. That's a good one. Kind of feeling that right now, if you know what I mean, Jelly Bean.
If you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
see,
think
these
that was
things,
all of them.
yeah, I feel like these things aren't just like applicable to 22 young adults entering grad. It's like you just kind of are constantly in that state of vulnerability. You always have to remind yourself of these
Totally.
things, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yes. Thank you everyone for writing in. That was very nice. I love it. Like, brings me so much joy when I see that there's a new submission. When we put a question box out, I'm like, oh, I want to go read it. I want to see what they said. It's so
I
exciting.
know.
It's like
There
getting a
was
letter in the mail. All right. Now we have our letters to ourselves. I'm a little
there was
nervous
something.
to read it because I feel like I'm going to cry.
Aw.
I know.
Do you want to start then? Write the emotion.
Yeah. If I cry, everyone be nice. Letter to myself. I love how I wrote this as if I was like taking, well, it's in my notes app in my phone, but it was like as if I'm taking notes for like a class or something. And again, I read this with the lens of this is like the day I am graduating college, is the like mindset that I was in.
Mhm.
Dear 22-year-old Ellen, was I 22 or 21? I was
Two.
21. Wait,
Most people graduate at 22.
I had just turned
I would
22.
say you would
Okay.
have just turned 22 at the beginning.
Okay. Math is
Math.
hard. We all know this about my previous life. Okay. Dear 22-year-old Ellen, first, I'm so proud of you for graduating today. College kicked your ass, but you learned so much about yourself, your work ethic, and who you want to become. You're about to move to Atlanta and enter the working world, so here's my 2 cents on what's in store for you. First, I really wish you had taken some more time between graduation and working. A day? Are you okay? Lessons learned for later in life. Next, you're going to feel lost, you're going to fail, you're going to need help, and you're probably going to have several existential crises, but it's all normal. Lean into the chaos, lean into your friends and family, and lean into the change. If there's one lesson that I've learned over the years, it's do what makes you happy. Make the career change, take the vacation, try the new workout class, explore relationships, and don't think twice about what other people think of you. It might get harder before it gets better, but I promise it's worth it. Ta-da!
Aw, I feel like I was reading that. I feel like you were talking to me too. You know, like I think that that's so perfect of like you're going to fail. It's almost like you were setting yourself up. I feel like I'm
Yes.
giving you a literature review.
Edit my paper. Give
I'm
me
like,
some
you
red
guys,
ink.
A plus. But you said it was cathartic. Like, how was it? You know, like writing it
Yeah,
kind of like brings back those like emotions, right?
totally. Oh my God. And like, I remember graduating on the Saturday and packing up my entire apartment and then just poof into the working world. Like, off I go.
Hmm.
And good Lord, like, I feel like in recently, it's like I try and do so many things all at one time. Even like before we got married, like it was just so many things happening all at one time. You're moving, and I feel like if I had learned to slow down a little bit, that might have helped
Hmm.
too, but whatever. It led me to where I am now, and I'm still very happy. So crazy.
Mm. That's a good lesson too, right? You like look back and you're like, oh, I did do a lot, and there is that I'm capable of doing, but also just because I know my limit doesn't mean that I have to push myself to the limit every single time with
Yeah.
every single thing. It's
Yeah.
okay to take things
Probably
slower.
not. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
probably not a good idea if you're giving 99% all the time. Like, you gotta chill out a little bit here and there. Take a breath.
What's breathing?
What's
What's lying
relaxing?
down?
Impossible. Oh my God.
Well, thank you
So
for
yeah.
sharing, Ellen. That's very
Thank
sweet.
you. I appreciate the review. Thanks.
If anything, you need to type it out and like post it. That's kind of what I kept thinking to myself. I'm like, I
Mm,
have this, and now I can come back to it whenever I need a little.
yeah. A little zhuzh. A little hug. Just kidding.
If you will.
All right. Let's hear yours. I feel like yours is going
Okay.
to be long. Is it long?
What makes you think that?
Oh
What makes you think that? Okay.
my God.
Okay. Note to post college Sarah. First off, no, we haven't become a CEO or a six-time founder yet. But before we jump into the serious notes, let's look at some of your accomplishments in the last few years. You survived your first job. Sure, it sucked and you hated every minute of it, but you did it. Yay! Speaking of surviving, you survived a pandemic. You'll look fondly on these years because they force you to slow down now, and you'll become incredibly thankful for your health. You became a fitness instructor and taught hundreds of men and women to celebrate and move their body. You started a business and you decided it really wasn't your thing, and that's okay. You got married and got a dog. You have your own family. You moved to Nebraska, but better yet, you moved to Delaware. I know you're asking yourself, what the fuck, but you'll learn to love it. You traveled to multiple countries and explored life outside of the US, and you created a dream podcast with Ellen. And oh my God, is it fun and powerful and fulfilling? It's created an amazing community of women looking to explore careers and define success for themselves. And watch out, because maybe, just maybe, this will be your full time gig. See, you accomplished so much, and these are only the highlights. So much goodness happened in the in between, for it's the little moments that brought you the most joy. So I ask you to breathe, because it's going to be okay. The next few months will be a challenge unlike anything you've ever faced. You'll learn what it's like to have your time no longer be yours, to now consist of a commute, of sitting at a desk, and of questioning why the hell you spent 22 years of your life chasing after this. You'll question if your enough is enough, if your job title is enough, does it pay enough, are you being a good enough employee, and more. But trust me, your enough is most certainly enough. You'll get opportunities, turn them and don't turn them down. Take the lunch with a stranger, attend the networking events, read the book, but do them because they make you happy, not because you feel like you need to fit a mold. And although all of this and through all of this, you'll have to remind yourself there's no such thing as a dream job. It's okay to have an okay job, to cry at work sometimes. I did today, and not always love what you're doing. But even on the hardest work days, that you have the love and support of your family and friends. So don't lose your bright-eyed energy, pursuit of self, or the urge to make a difference. I promise you that everything will just work out beautifully.
Sarah. Oh, that was so
Isn't that fun? It was
sweet.
fun. It was
Yeah.
fun. I just like was immediately put back into. I don't think I've ever mentioned this. This is, I think, my love letter to everybody that's graduating now. We're on the
Mm,
cusp of like some big change. Just do it. Like literally just do whatever it is that you think that you need to do in that moment, because I remember post grad thinking, I'm going to start a blog. And I'm going to start this blog just to be like the creative outlet that I wanted it to be. And I remember really doubted myself. I didn't enjoy writing. I think it was just kind of something that a lot of people were doing. Then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. But like,
mhm,
how much would I love to look back and be like, oh, these are the things that younger Sarah was like doing and seeing and exploring. Like, I wish that I would have done it. If I'd done it for a month, great. I would have at least
mhm,
tried it. And then I remember also too talking with one of the friends that I became friends with from an internship, thinking like, oh my God, I'm so lost and confused. Other people are lost and confused. We should do some sort of like event or networking something. And I never did it because I let doubt creep in, and then, like whatever, nothing came of it. But like, how cool would it have been to like create a community then? But, if anything, it was just basically like birthing what just a job was meant to be. And then you came into
mhm.
my life, and now we're here, you know?
Wow. Oh my God, warm fuzzies.
We've got all the warm fuzzies on this episode.
I
I think that
know.
like if anyone's listening, it took 5-10 minutes to just like
Mm,
write it down. And whether it's been 5 years, 10 years, 20 years since you graduated, like everybody's gone through that experience of post grad.
mhm.
what the fuck is going on blues. So
Yeah.
I'd say write the letter to yourself. I think it's nice.
Hmm. I like what you said too of like just do the thing that makes you happy. Of like with you and your example of either the blog or networking events, like I'm sure you're probably kicking yourself now that you could have done something like that. And
Oh my God.
well,
Yeah.
of course, it led to a beautiful thing, but I really like that piece of advice of like, don't let the doubt creep in. Like, you have good ideas, explore them. Like, at
Hmm.
least, give them the time of day instead of letting someone's opinion kibosh what you're maybe thinking could be something really cool and exciting. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that.
And not
Um,
everything has to be like a business venture either, right?
no.
Like you can do things just because they make you happy.
Hmm. Um, was it knowing you and how like post grad was a harder time for you? Was it hard to sit down and like revisit that time?
Yeah. I mean, there was so much going on. If anything, like, yeah, it was hard, but I like want to go back and give that girl a hug, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
There was so much going on in that time in my life that it's like, I just so badly want to just like show up in front of her and like give her a hug and hold her face and just be like, it's gonna be okay. You
It
know?
gets better, I promise.
Yeah, it does. You know, you just have to trust it. But fuck, in the moment, you're just like, literally, when is this? I just remember, driving in that commute. I'm sure you can relate. The commutes are always where it gets the mind
Totally.
going, and you're just like, I have to do this every day. And that was 5 days in office. That was rough.
I
But
oh, it's funny. Remember so vivid. There's even like certain songs that I hear that remind me of my commute during that time in my life where I'm like, turn this off. I can't revisit that right now because it was just like you feel like a
torturous.
drone where you're like, I hate my job. I hate this. Like, why am I doing this? And
Hmm.
everyone goes through it at some point, whether it is like your first job or not, or maybe it happens multiple times, whatever. But we were saying this earlier too, of like just knowing that take that validation, right? That like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm not the only person that's had a bad experience at work or doesn't enjoy their job as much as everyone else does. Like, it's okay to say, I'm not really enjoying this and make a change or just coast along and call it good. I mean,
Hmm. It's
oh,
like,
okay.
God.
You say yours, you say what you were going to say because my tangent is out of left field, but it's still kind of related.
I was just gonna say, I remember getting this advice from a gal. This was like a few years ago, and she was at a company, and I could tell that she wasn't really like loving it.
Mm,
And I remember being like, we weren't really close. I remember being like, how do you know when it's time to make your move, right? And she goes, something either really has to be pushing you out, like you need to leave your job now, something's pushing you out, or you need to have some opportunity that's pulling you
mm.
out. And I think about that so, I know that sounds so duh, like duh. Um, but I think about that a lot, right? Like
Well,
making
it's easy to
decisions.
think surface level, right? Of like, oh, I don't like my job, period. And you don't think about it twice. It's
Hmm.
another thing to sit and think, be like, I don't like my job because I don't like this or this. Could I change that and then still like it and
Hmm.
stay at my company? Or do I not like it enough to start looking elsewhere? Like taking that
Hmm.
couple extra layers deep to like really understand why truly are you not loving what
Yeah,
you're doing, you know?
right. Yeah. And like, is it life outside of your job? But, anyways, okay, your
Yeah.
tangent.
My tangent. So Bailey's piece of advice earlier on the appropriateness for work. And that combined with it's new grad season, it's probably still like wrapping or starting summer internships.
Hmm.
So we got an intern for our
Cute.
team. And it was these two guys, and they were walking around the floor getting introduced to everyone. And they come over to my desk, and one of them is dressed like our office is also very casual. Like you could literally wear leggings and a sweater and no big deal.
Hmm.
And so one of the guys is dressed in like very normal, I would say, like slacks and a golf polo or something.
Yeah.
The other the other intern is in a full suit. Full suit, backpack on. And
Oh,
I was like,
oh, that's so
it
cute.
was I was like, this man showed up to impress today. And he
That's
was like,
so
he
cute.
looked so nervous. And I was like, boy, I don't know what I'm doing over here. Like, don't need to be nervous around me. It was so sweet. So
Mm,
if you're an intern and intern season is upon you, it's okay if you overdress on the first day. I feel like everybody does at some point.
totally.
It's okay. And
I'd
at
rather
least
be
it was
over.
appropriate. Yes.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say like cargo shorts or something.
Oh, heavens.
That would
Ooh.
be bad move.
No,
But
that's in the other tech building. I'm not in the tech building, but
like again, if you settle on it and you think about it, like, do you remember being so excited? I get that way sometimes, but like to play adult.
I literally, again, I say this all the time, but I literally pictured working in an office being Kate Hudson in Bride Wars. I am in a cute suit. I'm in this like cool building, not necessarily a lawyer. I'm marching on my little walking pad like I'm an adult. And I remember even at my previous company, like showing up and being like, oh, it is time. Give me the laptop. I'm ready to send some emails. Like, I got
I'm
this.
ready. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, it is exciting to an extent for showing up and wanting to do your best and like make an impact. And then when you kind of have that moment of realization where you're like, oh, it's kind of gut wrenching a little
I
bit,
think to know
right?
that you have to go in and do it day in and day out, that's the gut wrenching part. But for the fun,
Yeah,
the beginning of it, you're like, it's fun to have
it is.
something to do and have cute outfits and feel needed.
Totally. And
Mhm.
like, I'm relating this to myself because why not? But also with this new job of like you're coming into a new job, like I was excited for sure. Like it's a huge company, huge opportunity. You come in and you're like, everything's all new and shiny and everyone's really nice. And you're like, I want to make a difference and I'm going to change the world. And then you get into what you're actually doing and you're like,
No difference to be had here.
ah, I see.
Hmm.
But again, it's okay. Adopt that just a job mentality. I'm telling you, it's going to
There,
bring you
yeah,
peace and solace.
there definitely is like a mental protective layer.
Totally.
The
Um,
sooner you drink it, the better
the
you'll
better.
feel. Mhm.
Exactly. What
It's like an ibuprofen. Don't resist it. When you have a headache, you have to take the
take it.
ibuprofen.
Do it.
Take it.
Yes. If do you have any like specific pieces of advice for like a new grad going into their very first job?
I don't think that I have to reiterate this for Gen Z because I think that they're more vocal, but it kind of tying it into what some other people are saying, like asking questions. I think it can go both ways.
Hmm.
They hired you because of either your skill set or something they saw in you, but they hired you for a reason. They didn't hire you to just like sit and take it. So ask the questions, but also provide your own thoughts and opinions.
Hmm.
I think, like it could be about a project. If, you think that it should be run this way, or if you think somebody else needs to be involved, or just whatever, like if you sit to the side, you're going to be walked over. And I think if you can establish that pretty early in your career of speaking up, obviously when necessary, I think that that will be a good thing for you in the long run, especially as
Hmm.
a woman. I think if you can establish your, like confidence levels pretty young, and if you step out of line, somebody will tell you, or you'll know. But
Hmm.
people want to hear it.
Totally.
Speak up.
That's a good one. I like that.
What would you say?
Besides like the normal stuff of like be appropriate, be professional, show up on time. I feel like show up on time is also like it goes a long way, which is so silly. But on a deeper level, I think advocating for yourself is
Hmm.
something that I wish I learned earlier in my career. And it's such
Hmm.
an awkward thing to learn, and kind of like what you were saying too about the confidence thing, because when it comes to self promotion, it comes easier to up to certain people for sure. But like if you want to make more money or get a higher position or even work on a different project, like the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you ask for it. And if you promote yourself and advocate for yourself, even if you're like your your bandwidth is completely full and you're like, whoa, 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 too much. Like learning, I think now, especially like now knowing that I have the power to advocate for myself and negotiate a higher salary or advocate that I want to be included on this kind of project or I'm too busy, can you help me kind of thing, has only helped me. And again, I wish I learned it earlier in my career for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking up for yourself. There's like, I think in general, it's just knowing yourself, knowing what you're capable of. Yeah, being an advocate in more ways than one. Yeah.
Period.
That's all we have to say, baby.
That's all I have to say.
I feel like this episode has been great. I hope that like those that are listening, even if you graduated a long time ago, maybe you have a sister or a friend or a cousin,
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage you to do a little promotion for us and share it, right? Maybe you don't have to share the episode, but do. But just like share your thoughts. If you have an intern that's in the office, get a coffee with them. If you have a new
Yeah.
hire, take an opportunity to have a 5-minute chat with them. Like we've all been there. Don't be a jerk and let them, you know, struggle in this alone. Like extend a hand and
Mm-hmm.
be a friend.
That's a good one. Pay it forward.
Yeah.
Because when you were in their shoes, you wanted the exact same thing. So just
Yeah.
take a couple of minutes out of your day, like you said, and just
Be a
be
mentor.
like, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me any questions you have. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then recommend the number one podcast on Spotify, Just a Job.
We're number one. Doi. We're like your workplace bestie
Again, see?
friends.
Self promotion. Number one podcast. I'm living out my own advice.
You're taking a piece of your own
Oh my
advice.
God.
Well, Ellen, any parting thoughts for you?
This was very therapeutic and I appreciate it. I really liked this topic. I think it's
Agreed.
timely. I think it was like selfishly nice to just have a little look back. And then just with, okay, so I'll also take that piece of advice with the intern that came in a suit. I'm going to take him to a coffee and be like, so tell me about you. What are you learning? What do you like? What do you not
Mm-hmm.
like?
Mm-hmm. What are you
That's my takeaway.
studying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Parting thoughts? Takeaways?
It's just a job.
That was gorgeous. Boom. Mic drop.